I was wrong. I really thought on the other day that Biden was gonna stay in this thing and gonna be there all the way. He had been so forceful about it for one thing. Oh, she's the worst though. She's so much worse.
Dude,
than
she
him.
is crushing it. She did a rally and they had to reschedule the rally to not reschedule, but move it to a place that could handle the bigger crowd. The crowd is going nuts, like a 2016 Trump crowd. She has this line that she keeps repeating about how, when she was a prosecutor, she took on these for-profit colleges that ripped off their students, and Donald Trump paid $25 million in fines for his rip-off for-profit college. When she was a prosecutor, she took on people who cheated the system for their own benefit. Donald Trump has 34 felony convictions for cheating the system for his own benefit. When she was a prosecutor, she took on, she specialized in sexual abusers. She says, I know people like Donald Trump, and I've beaten people like Donald Trump before. And the crowd goes ballistic. She's killing it. The internet's filled with coconuts because of her silly little coconuts thing. I don't know what it's like. They turn a negative to a positive because that coconut thing is objectively silly.
Don't even know what you're talking about. You really
will. You're going to see coconut merch. You're going to see coconuts everywhere. It means Kamala, and she is crushing it. And
rally from 4 or 6 hours ago.
Where it was, yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a pretty full high school gymnasium. Saying this is like on par with
mic drop.
Yeah,
actually, Trump's not
2016 Trump.
Right
2016 Trump was like Metallica.
This week, he filled a sports stadium.
Listen, I'm telling the story. Stop it. I'll tell the way I want to.
Dude, they're trying so hard to make Kamala cool.
Did she flex on? Did she flex on all the marijuana prosecutions?
Trump. She's winning in every national poll right now. At least the new ones. If you drag out the ones that lasted like 2 weeks, or the ones from before, she was really the person, because people were divided. Some wanted Kamala, half dozens of us wanted Buttigieg. Some people wanted Cooper. Some people wanted Kelly. I forget the other names.
Whitmer.
Whitmer's a big one. Newsom's a big one. Yeah.
I'd rather have The Rock than some of those people.
Now, oh my gosh, dude, it's Kamala crazy on the internet. And Donald Trump, he's hilarious to watch right now with his boomer Karen energy complaining. I'd like to see a manager. I want refunds on all the effort I put into Dark Brandon.
He's in his own universe.
Yeah,
I'm
not. You're in your own world on this.
You guys are in your own world. The Reuters poll. What Reuters is not like.
Well, you're fired up about it. That's all that matters.
Reuters is the premier unbiased news organization, right? No one calls them biased.
Who?
And they said Kamala's leading in the polls right now. So I'm loving it. There's a whole new coat of paint on the Democrat. It has been no fun to be Team Blue for like 3 weeks. I'm trying to think. It started at debates, right? At the debates, Trump had a much better debate than Biden did. And then it was just all Trump all the time for 3 weeks, probably peaking at when he got his ear pierced by the fellow Republican, grabbed his high heels and ran off stage. But then the best thing, like the first piece of good news for the Democratic team was when Trump took the stage and he had this meandering ramble, 90 minutes of debate.
And all those independent Democrats heard that and they were like, and then the Republicans heard it and they're like, I'm voting for a woman, a black woman. That was
the first piece of good news that the Democrats had, Trump taking the stage.
You say that, but think about what you're saying. Why would that help the Democrats if Donald Trump has a bad speech? Who from the right is going to say it was anyone who's tuned in and watching 90 minutes of an RNC speech with Donald Trump? They're not looking to be swayed. They're members of the cult. They're in the choir.
There's hardly anyone looking to be swayed.
That was a long one. Can you believe
when Trump gets the opportunity? This is like a State of the Union for a candidate, right? This is his opportunity to get some eyeballs on him. Democrats are watching him. I did. Republicans are watching him for sure. The idea that the only people watching him are unpersuadable.
It was 90 minutes.
Is off target. It was boring. It was the longest speech in the history of any nomination for since the 60s ever. I don't know. It was terrible. It was long and it was meandering and it had all the energy of the Beach Boys singing California Girls for the 3,000th time. And it was all his same like complaints about elections being stolen and filled with lies, the standard Trump lies he always tells that aren't supposed to be lies, right? They're kind of like jokes, I think. So Trump didn't do himself any favors at the RNC, and you can't find anyone who says he did. It has finally been fun.
Well, I'm glad you guys won. I'm happy for you.
I'm glad we went to 200. I'm psyched.
Yeah, I think I'm still pretty confident here. It just doesn't.
Me too.
I think she's got. Are you mad at me or something?
No, I'm not mad at all. I swear.
You're being rude.
That's probably true. Sorry.
You're like jumping in on the tail of like my words with, yeah, are you? Like you want to fight or something.
I said me too. I mean, you said I'm glad. I said me too. That's kind of hitting it back. It's not
okay.
Jumping.
Well, I know it's been rough for you guys for a while. I think that Kamala is a terrible candidate. I think there's a reason that she got trounced in that primary process back in whatever year it was when her and Tulsi and Joe were on stage, and they're trying to see who's the most racist amongst those three. And Kamala's calling Joe a racist, and Tulsi's calling Kamala a racist, and it's ridiculous. I don't think she's a good candidate. I see the framing from the left is that Donald is running from a debate with her, or when they see that
Macy's done it.
Yeah, or they made fun of Trump's VP Vance because he said he was upset that he wasn't going to get to debate her. It's like, why are you making fun of him? He was going to debate her and now he's not. You're going to have this like really well-spoken guy talk to someone who has trouble with sentences and, talking to people. Every speech I've ever seen from her was pretty rough. I remember that Space Force addressal or whatever you want to call it. Like that was crazy.
Space affects us all.
I remember when she was talking there was a school bus behind her. I don't know who she was talking to. It's possible she was talking to like preschool kids. And if that's the case, then she nailed it.
No, that was MIT.
She's like, who doesn't love a big yellow school bus?
Dude, I think she's had some klutzy things. The coconut thing, which I'm sure you'll get exposed to soon, to me was lame. The montage of today unbeholden by
unburdened by today from yesterday's sorrow.
I get it. I don't like that one. I think she thinks it's clever, but I don't think you'll see her say it again. But today's thing, she's killed. People are taking snippets of it. They're going viral on the internet. Everyone's excited. Not everyone, of course.
She has bad cadence. Like the speeches I've watched from her cadence is very bad, and she puts the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable in the way she's speaking, and does a very insincere Hillary Clinton-esque panic laugh way too often. And so I agree that, dude, the Democrats have so many better people. And like Kamala, she just sucks. She doesn't inspire. There's a reason they kept her, under a blanket the past 4 years. She doesn't pull well with people.
She's been working on the border, Taylor. That was her.
I think what happens is the blue team is thirsty for someone, and they gave her Kamala, and they're excited. I agree that I don't know about the cadence thing. That's how I see Trump. Donald Trump is always doing this sing-songy, like wavy up and down cadence thing that I find unappealing, but some people love it. I can't ignore that. He's popular with less than half the nation, but almost half. But Kamala, I don't see the cadence thing. I do see the laugh thing. Trump's first nickname for her was Laughing Harris.
Laughing Kamala.
No, Laughing Harris. And I'm like, cackling Kamala was right there. Right. And he went with Laughing Harris. I think you're losing your branding, dude. But are
they going to debate? Or
Trump has twice said he doesn't want to. He thinks ABC's not fair, that he wants to have it on Fox. Fox, for the record, spent almost $1 billion in fines for lies on Trump's benefit. So like that's
CNN gave the questions to Hillary. And Trump went into the lion's den.
And it's not on CNN,
it's ABC. CNN, I know, but I'm just saying, like these Trump's had it the same way. Trump's been cheated through these things as well. And Trump did the last debate, like going into the lion's den in a format that we all sat here and we're like, oh my God, he's ruined. They're going to make him actually talk. They're not going to let him interrupt and joust. And he went in there and destroyed and won. And the most landslided, lopsided presidential debate in presidential history. And he's like, all right, won that one. They're like, hey, you beat our guy so bad he died almost. So we've got a backup guy, though. Don't worry. And same rules, right? He's like, no, now we'll come play at my house. Look, I like it. I don't think that it's him running away or being cowardice.
It's so weak. He wants to go to Fox News because he's scared of the rules he already agreed to. It looks like President Pussy Pants. Like I see that a lot from him, but he's just trying to
former
get out of this
no,
debate.
remember,
I'm
it's
not sure
president.
they'll.
Former president.
Oh, I'm sorry, former
Poopy
President
Pants.
Pussy Pants.
Yeah, you're just your visceral hatred of him is so boundless that like I don't know if you can interpret anything he does without being very negative about it. Like
I hear you, but like to me, I'm seeing him for what he is, right? Like, dude, the Epstein phone logs didn't change anybody's mind. Like at this point, I keep saying it. Trump was like, he's going to hand over Ukraine to Russia at this point, which I know Taylor likes, but it's against my moral code.
A lot of people do want us out of that war.
Yeah, I don't
for sure.
I don't like a lot of things about Trump, but I do absolutely despise all the things about the other side. And a lot of the people who are so pretentiously like shoot him down and call anyone who supports him worthy of death loon who's a deplorable or whatever, like the way they painted his supporters with one brush. And you're going to have a hard time getting me on board with a marijuana prosecutor who sent 1,500 people to prison for marijuana crimes. And then when when they asked her if she smoked marijuana, she giggled and laughed about it. Someone who had someone sitting on death row and had evidence that clearly they were innocent and waited till her hand was forced to let them out of prison.
I get you. I don't like that marijuana prosecution thing, but I mean, marijuana prosecution was like going away under Obama, and Trump brought it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to consider that his strength. It's
what she does, though. It's her bread and butter. Like it was her thing. So it's a whole different scenario. And also, like Trump's just, if anything, he's sticking with his ideals with any sort of marijuana policy he has. He's straight edge over there. I mean, he's got his cold pills, but he doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke weed. He doesn't smoke weed. He's definitely not cool enough to smoke weed.
I think he doesn't smoke weed because he likes to look down on it. Maybe like that's my vibe for Trump. Like or maybe he does. I think it's maybe just straight edge, like a health thing, perhaps. I don't know. It's hard to see him as a health nut, but there's a reason he doesn't smoke and drink, and I just have to bundle marijuana into the same sort of line of thinking.
Maybe,
which is not a hate thing at all.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm concerned about Joe. Where is Joe? I want to know how he's doing and how he's running the country right now and keeping us all safe. How is the federal government being led by
he's not
right now?
Dude,
yeah, he hasn't been running the country for years, dude. Everyone knows this now.
I'm thrilled with the way the country's being run. Like, I genuinely am. I saw Pete Buttigieg tweet. So there was that freaking CrowdStrike thing, and Delta Airlines was having trouble. Buttigieg gets on the air. We have received reports of continued disruptions and unacceptable customer service conditions at Delta. Delta must provide prompt refunds to consumers who choose not to take rebooking, free rebooking for those who do, and timely reimbursements for food and hotel stays to consumers affected by these delays and cancellations, as well as adequate customer service. No one should be stranded at an airport overnight or stuck on hold for hours waiting to talk to a customer service agent. If any airline fails to honor its customer service requirements, let us know. He gives a URL to contact the government. This didn't exist before the Biden administration. And that was the end of it. Or maybe they give you like free miles at best, some future flight, to get you to take their thing again, probably that you have to upgrade. Now, consumer service has been fixed at airlines. Airlines are the people who pay for their mistakes. That's how the country's being run.
Although all the airlines were all shut down at once, that's the whole reason that refunds were a problem. So like none of the planes were moving, but don't worry, we'll get you a refund on time and it'll be cash.
It didn't used to be. It used to be the consumers got screwed.
Oh, I'm aware. I remember when Biden signed the order or whatever. It's only been a couple months. It feels like
this is like such it's a good thing, but it's the teeniest, tiniest little thing to like hang your hat on as far as like how the country's going.
I'm looking for big policy, large things.
I like his infrastructure to be able.
I like his infrastructure stuff. I like his infrastructure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he did something about the lead in the pipes, which it's like, why do we have lead in our pipes in this country? God damn you people! Like, okay, maybe one less Spirit bomber, okay? One less, and we fix all the lead in the pipes.
What's a Spirit bomber?
Probably some absurdly expensive military thing.
The B-2 Spirit, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One less $1 billion plane. I think those are $2 billion. Jesus, I think those are $2 billion planes. The new ones, a B-21 or something like that. Let's get the lead out of the pipes. So, like, I like to hear stuff like that. But I really don't like that border thing. what are these polls? Because I saw the Reddit
Two more
headline.
came out today.
I saw the Reddit headline like Kamala's leading in the national polls, and then I go right back to 538, and it's in so many pages of him.
That's interesting because on 538 they literally just like turned it off and said that they're not going to do it again until after the nomination. Did it change? Well, I'll go.
They turned polling off.
It says forecast suspended on 538.
Why did they do that?
Because they don't have a nominee for the Democratic Party.
Oh, I thought it was almost like foregone conclusion.
It is, but that's what the words say on 538.
It almost reminds me of the George Bush, read my lips, no new taxes. And then like a few moments later.
That's your example of like, I knew it wouldn't change. Because we did get new taxes.
No, well, no, it's my example of someone like saying I'm going to do a thing like very forcefully and clearly. And like literally saying, read my lips. And then a week later, it's like, well, actually, turns out that I'm not capable of running for president again. I'm good to run the place now, though. Don't worry about me. Wait, where have you been for 5 days? Don't worry about me. Someone sent a signed piece of paper that said, dude, we would be, if our uncle or something like sent us a letter like that, if someone just showed up and was like, hey, your uncle's selling the place, just so you know, he signed here, we'd be like, I'm going to need to see him. I don't know you. Yeah. I'm going to need to hear from Uncle Bernie.
Wait,
Uncle Bernie, are you selling
81? Yeah, I need to see little.
You're telling me my Uncle Bernie, who's 81, is selling his house, and all I have to go on is this piece of paper signed by him. I don't know. I'm gonna need to see Uncle Bernie and hear from him about all this.
You got to get a look at Joe. I mean, he's just. I think he came out today, right? He was Burns handing around an airplane tarmac.
Was it?
I think.
I don't think he's been seen for 5 days.
I'm definitely not saying you're wrong. I was AFK all day.
Oh, okay. May have been an older video. I thought it was from today. But either way, I don't.
He did have dark hair.
He had dark hair. Not in the video I saw. He had white old man hair.
He had hair? This is a step up. He barely has hair.
Yeah, but the thing about it, Kyle, is you've got a number of big against the odds predictions up in the air right now. And so losing this little minor one, not a big deal. You could still get the Trump call from like a year plus ago, I think, is when you made.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got the Trump call down. Like the fact that they're just gonna choose Kamala to be the candidate, coronate her, if you will. It's all over. Like it's all over. There's no way. It is
all over. Trump is getting butt fucked. He hasn't let a poll.
Butt fucking is it?
Yeah, I'll double you. How confident are you? Let's make it 200.
We can make it 200 because if you look on the and they would say, hey, there's a press conference in an hour. Either you're going out there or we are. They're assembled. You can either tell, let us fucking go out on your shield here, like for the good of the party. Like, here's your speech. We had it written by our guy who knows how to write speeches, and that would work. He'd have to give up, because if you had those four go out there and have a press conference and say it's in the national interest that the 25th Amendment is employed here, because our friend, our colleague, our family, our brother, like, kiss his ass as much as you can, but say he can't hack it anymore and kick him out of the job. But once you do that, I said this yesterday because it just kind of popped into my head, but it's Al Gore. I know. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Al Gore is from the time of stability and prosperity, and he was there when the coin flipped heads, when it could have flipped tails, when there was like 500 votes in one county in Florida, and he could have been George Bush on 9/11 and saved trillions of dollars and not invaded multiple countries. There's alternate universes where Al Gore was the president for those 8 years, and I think it's a better fucking place. But I kind of still see that in him. And not only do I see all that, I see that he kind of grew a sense of humor in the last 25 years.
He's 76 now. For all I know, he's
spring chicken. Yeah.
Is he still jetting around saving the world? To me, I kind of want a name I know, but I want somebody that feels safe. I don't think that Gavin Newsom guy can win, a national race. I think it has to be Kamala. If I'm trying to win and I'm not allowed to make some sort of wacky, like Michelle Obama and Al Gore type mix. Like that's what I'd want probably, by the way, is like Michelle Obama and Al Gore, something like some kind of mix of them would be, I think, the strongest wacky pick. But
so
she's already said she doesn't want it. And but
I'm sorry, I'll keep going.
But Kamala, it has to be Kamala, because I heard some political legal jargon about how if Joe were to step down and allow Kamala to be president, and then she's the incumbent, it checks off more of these boxes that these 13 keys to the White House or something like that you need X amount of, making her the Kamala.
Kamala, like the punctuation. Kamala.
I'm okay with being disrespectful to Kamala.
Okay.
That's how it rolls off my tongue. I was
trying to correct you privately, so nobody knew.
I don't care. I don't care.
Well, okay.
Kamala? Is it Kamala?
Kamala.
It's what you just said. It's what
Kamala.
you said, Kyle. I think you got it right.
Kamala. If she were the incumbent, it seems like she has a pretty good shot as well, because they explained how something about his campaign funds could directly be transferred to her if she became the incumbent. And I didn't really pay too much attention.
She's so
to the
unpopular. Like she's got less of a chance than fucking a dead Joe Biden.
I think the DEI criticism of her will hit hard. Right. I remember when before he picked her, he's like, I'm going to limit my choices for VP to just women. And I'm like, that feels yucky to me. Right. He didn't say he's going to pick the best person who could be president in case something happens to him. He said he's going to pick the best woman. Mm-hmm. And then he chose Kamala. And I don't hate Kamala like everybody else does, but I do acknowledge everybody else does. Therefore, there's something going on that matters. Yeah. And I like Newsom. The reason I like Newsom is I thought he absolutely butt-fucked DeSantis in their debate. And DeSantis, I think, is better than Trump at it. Like, if Newsom were to go up there, he would make Trump look bad in the next debate, and everyone would be like, we got our guy. I think that's how it would play out. But for reasons I don't fully understand, only Kamala is able to inherit Biden's, like, fundraising, ground game, and all that stuff.
Maybe that's true, but Kamala just has too much of that, like, Hillary Clinton energy of, like, she's so apparent in her insincerity and the way she's just fake from top to bottom.
So she says a thing. You guys have probably seen the viral video where she's like, we need to overlook what has been and look at what can be. I messed that up, but I'm close.
Like that,
yeah. And I mentioned that to my wife. I even showed her the video, and she's like, well, Trump says build the wall again and again. Trump says lock her up again and again. Why does Trump get to repeat the same lines? But for her, it's insincerity. And I'm like, actually, I don't have an answer, but it is viewed differently. People see it through different lenses.
Well, it's because one of them is, albeit ham-handed in its delivery, a policy prescription. Build the wall. Like he's saying something he wants to do, or he pretends to want.
The man sells slogans.
Fight for. He sells like what Kamala is doing is acting as though she has come up with a phrase organically at the end of a statement, and then adding it in as like a little addendum. And it's like someone told her to say that, or like beforehand they were like, "Hey, this little line, this tested big."
Well, she came up with it. Who knows? She's not dumb.
Are you riding with Biden though?
Me?
No, I don't think so.
I only say that because they had reporters have been hounding Democrat officials this week, literally like chasing them down hallways and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were after this guy, and they were like, does the entire committee agree? I'm riding with Biden. Does every single member unanimously agree? I'm riding with Biden. 10 times as he walks away from, I'm riding with Biden.
Not a good answer.
It is a good answer. I mean, like he said where he answered the question. I like that a lot more than dodging. Well, he kind of dodged.
Well, didn't really answer it. If they're like, so everyone's on your side, I'm riding with Biden. Okay,
okay.
You said it, but everyone is. I'm riding with Biden. Oh, okay. So if it was yes, you would have said yes. Thanks.
Pelosi said something interesting. They're like, hey, do you think Biden should step down? And she's like, the NATO summit is this week. I think we should put this aside this week. And it's like, that wasn't yes. That was a million miles from yes.
I want to get a count real quick. Kyle is the only one who thinks Joe is going to still be the guy.
Staying in.
No, I think he's going to stay in.
You think he's going to stay?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be forced out. And Hutch, Woody, you both think Biden's going to be forced out?
Kamala?
He's gone. Yeah, and Kamala will probably take over.
I think it won't be Biden.
I
low
think,
confidence.
Yeah. Didn't he
You're gonna
openly
run an
say
Indian
like,
lady against a guy with an Indian wife? As
I'm
his
hoping it's
second?
Whitmore,
That's
but
Oh, those cancel
that's
out.
crazy.
that cancels out? Yeah.
If you're Whitmer,
Yeah.
would you say yes? I mean, I feel like if you're Whitmer, or if you're Newsom, or if you're Buttigieg or whatever, and you have these larger aspirations for the
Please
presidency,
run Buttigieg.
Why would
Layup.
you
with you.
not wait until 2028? I mean, it's just so risky to
Doesn't make any sense.
because if you swing once and miss, it's really difficult to come back from that.
I follow a lot of sports, and
That's a
one of
good
the major points of winning the championship is getting to the championship. And I feel like they're offering her a seat at the finals. You say no to that? Against
not
Trump?
gonna
offer-
Trump
they're not gonna
sucks.
offer
The
her.
only person Trump can beat in an election is Hillary Clinton so far.
They're not going
Trump
offer
lost
it
to
her, though.
Biden hiding in the basement while Trump went out there and lost the election on himself. People are like, I can't believe Biden got 81 million votes. Biden got like 1 million votes. And then there were 80 million against Trump.
Yes. During
Oh,
a
so then why
pandemic
would
when-
Biden drop out then if they're just voting against Trump?
Because 2 out of 3 Democratic voters want him gone, including a plurality of black voters. It's like and independent voters. It's like 70% want him gone. It's just all.
So
of
it
the
wasn't
polls,
about
not
Trump.
just- wait, what? When?
You asked
What?
why
The
they want
first
him
time,
gone.
the election you stole, that wasn't just voting against
That's what
Trump.
he said.
That wasn't,
The
yeah,
election
because
that
if
Biden-
it
the
doesn't
election-
matter who he's running
the election-
against, they're just going to vote against him again, right?
The election
so what
that
does it
Biden,
matter?
The election that Biden won was not enthusiasm for Biden. He has never had a cult of personality like Obama or Clinton or JFK or whatever. He was
Trump.
seen as this or Trump,
yeah.
to that for that matter. It was people were way more engaged with politics because they were spending way more time indoors and spending way more time on social media, and there was a huge influx of voters that were disgusted with Trump. That's what happened. So he's just like, it's just not gonna. It's not the same. It's a totally different dynamic now, which is why he needs, in my opinion, he needs to step aside.
I think it was
Yeah.
well put.
Well, he also needs to step aside, not just because of the polling, because he's a senile old man, and he has been for years. And it's wild to see the pivot from the media, who just until a week ago was calling people conspiracy theorists for pointing out that this
Yeah.
guy can't find his way up an airplane flight of stairs, and he's walking around with Mr. Fucking Burns hands. And then
another good
suddenly it's
bet.
like the media says one thing about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, we've been given permission to talk about this." Yeah, he's a
Who here
senile old
thinks
man. We
Biden
gotta
is
get him
going-
out.
Who here thinks Biden has a degenerative neural disorder of some kind, a Parkinson's-esque thing?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
obvious.
you don't much.
I have not seen evidence. I mean, I'm not a Parkinson's expert. I mean, he's a 81-year-old man, and for all intents and purposes, he's aging like a normal 81-year-old man. The problem is, there's a lot of people like Taylor that think he's literally senile. Whatever. I mean, my opinion aside, there's just a lot of people that think that, and a lot of people have concerns that he can't serve a second term. And
My grandparents are about 81, and they are not senile, and so they don't behave like Biden does. They can hold conversations with you. They don't get randomly angry when it gets to be nighttime. They don't get sundowning, which is a sign of dementia, where they become irritable and extremely tired. Like I think Woody was talking about a Parkinson's expert who finally, got on the news, and they were like, "Hey, it's okay to notice this now." And he's like, "Oh, okay, good. Yeah, this guy has fucking Parkinson's."
I saw about a 10-minute video from a Parkinson's expert. So now I am also a Parkinson's expert.
Same.
And
Yes.
I think
Doctor,
And Woody saw that video, and so now I am a Parkinson's expert.
doctor.
Yeah.
but no, actually, I could send you the video, Hutch. It was incredibly influential on me. I know, right? But if you saw it, I think you'd be like, "Oh, this
listen,
guy."
I'm
He's-
open-minded to stuff. I'm not a neurological expert, and I've been around somebody in close proximity who had full-on dementia. It looked nothing like this. I mean, just nothing like it. So but I also have a friend who works in hospice, and he says he sees Parkinson's all the time, and he says when he looks at Biden, he thinks Parkinson's. So I'm open. I'm just like
one of the
agnostic,
things this
so.
guy talked about was not just the mental stuff, which is what we're focused on in this conversation, the physical stuff.
His physical gait, where he
the
keeps
way
his
that
arms
he
stiff.
shuffles, the way that he walks without swinging his hands, the way that he turns. If I were to
Roomba.
ask you, that's actually true. If I were to say, "Hey, Hutch," you'd probably turn your upper body and look at me quickly. If I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
Joe," he'd pivot his whole body and shift towards me.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said, I don't know why it hit me so hard, is he's like, I could diagnose this guy from across the mall. Now, I am an expert in swimming. If I see a guy take 2 strokes, I can tell you his level of swim competence and experience. And I had this experience where I had a plantar fasciitis. It's a problem with my foot. went to an orthopedic surgeon. He had me walk like 3 strides and he could see what was up. Like he instantly understood. I thought my gait was fairly normal, but to him, it stuck out like a sore thumb. So to see a subject matter expert look at how this guy moves and say it couldn't be more obvious, I was like, oh, damn.
Well, he is clearly diminished
A Democrat.
Substantially since 2020. I mean, go if you want to blow your mind even more, go back to 2012 debate with Paul Ryan. It's just he did not stutter at all. He was very cogent.
Yeah.
And,
I thought Paul Ryan won that when I watched it, and I may have been really biased at the time, but I was like incensed that they had given it to Joe Biden. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even remember the substance of it. But as far as his dementia, like I just think they do
It's
that
so
thing
fucking
they do that thing where they take things out of context, these little blurbs where someone gets a name wrong. Sometimes they used to do that, and I'd roll my eyes, be like, come on, like focus on his actual flaws. Don't just cut this thing and make it look like he said the wrong thing. He was telling a joke, or he was riffing, or he was quoting, and you make it seem like he's saying the thing. I hate that. And at first I thought that was happening to Joe Biden mostly, and it was kind of funny. And like, yeah, he is an old like guy with a stutter. He does have a speech impediment. But the thing is, he keeps calling people the wrong names that are his close like group. It'd be like me getting you guys names wrong right now. And I've got notes in my hands that have your names on them. He keeps getting them wrong, and he'll be like, you caught me at a bad time. Next week, I'm talking to Lester Holt, and I'll be able to tell names again. Gooder. He said Gooder.
And the scrutiny since the debate has been so much more intense. So like, I'll tell you from the perspective of someone who's been like a tireless Biden soldier on the front lines of the digital fucking political arena, because I do like his policies. I do like his administration's decisions, which is just all that matters to me. I got to tell you, like, from my perspective, I'm like the big black man at the end of the Green Mile. I'm just tired. So like every time he gets in front of time he gets in front of a microphone now, like to setting aside his policies, which again, I like, it's just anxiety inducing every time he speaks now. And so I'm ready to, I realize it's a risky thing to have Kamala take over, but
I'm glad
you're like that guy at Green Mile,
it.
except you're injecting poison into America instead of taking it out.
All right, let's go back a notch.
True.
One notch.
So true, Dan. So true.
Wouldn't you guys say that all the dementia stuff aside, this is more about just like people that are ideologically entrenched? Like if your guy was speaking the same way that Biden was speaking, you would still vote for him because you would like their policies. You would like the administration. Blah 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 blah.
The moment Trump stops being funny,
you would vote for Joe Biden.
The moment Trump stops being funny, when the joke, when the crowd starts laughing at him instead of with him, that's the moment it breaks for me. And that's when he goes over.
Hold on, Dick. You would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump?
No, I just wouldn't vote. I never voted before Trump. I wouldn't vote again. I fucking hate Republicans. I hate Trump's entire staff.
Maybe you're not the best person to ask.
JD Vance.
Maybe
we're all kind of
then.
Woody's the closest here to a traditional.
Yeah, but
anything.
I'm the voter that you need. Like you have to get
maybe not even
the guys
you.
who
We're all
don't vote.
wild cards. No, Taylor is. Taylor's.
I never voted for. I fucking hate Republicans
right
too.
The last 10 years, Woody.
I'm sorry.
Have you noticed Taylor's slow shift to the right the last decade, and my slow shift to the left?
I noticed Taylor's shift farther to the right. Further. You have always.
I don't
been
think so.
a
I
little
think
more of a
I think a lot of people just moved left, and maybe
you were pro-life.
I'm definitely. Oh yeah, that's true.
Pro-choice, you mean?
I did say it backwards. He was previously pro-choice, and now he's pro-life.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well,
cutting in and someone's talking right now.
First of all, I think that Biden is doing a bigger disservice to America, representative democracy, and our way of life than Trump ever can by what he's doing right now and like throwing this race so hard and throwing the whole ticket so hard. He is about to send us into a world where Trump has absolute power. Like he has the Supreme Court. He's going to have the Supreme Court, the Senate, the House, and he's going to be the goddamn president. And he might just start. He could do so many things to legally keep staying. He could do so many things to wipe people out. He really could. What if he did this? And I'm just off the top of my head. What if he sets up some bullshit tribunal in Congress, his Congress, and they have a trial, and they determine that last election was stolen, that it was stolen, and that he's entitled to 4 more years because technically he's won 3 elections, and they stamp it, and it goes to the Supreme Court, and they stamp it, and Trump says, "Here we fucking go." The rest, you know what? And the end of that 4 years, what do you want? Some more Trump? And everybody's like, yes, sir, yes, sir.
He's gonna step aside. Like I
hope so. I hope so.
He reached the final boss, the Elden Beast of the Democratic Party apparatus. Obama leaked to the press today that he privately is pushing for Biden to drop out, and so I would be
Schumer.
Can I add to that?
Well,
that makes the list this: Obama, Schiff, Pelosi, and Schumer are calling for him to step down.
And Raskin.
Okay, and Raskin. I didn't know that one.
Yeah,
that's like all the heads in the.
Yeah, but did you hear Biden big dicked it? And he's like, I don't even know who you people are.
That sounds like Trump. I never met that guy.
Well, it's pretty fascinating palace intrigue because like the friendship that he has with Obama is not really a friendship. Like Obama famously sort of convinced him to not get in the race in 2016, and Obama.
I'm glad you brought it up.
What's
That's in my notes. That is why he won't leave. That is what he won't leave. It's over here written. That is why Biden is not going to drop out, in my opinion, because the last time he listened to Barack Obama, he didn't run because his son was dead. 2016, Hillary runs, she loses, Trump takes over, we get the Trump presidency, and I'm sure we can all imagine how, regardless of how we feel about it, Biden feels so much worse about it and everything that happened during. He hates Trump way more than any of us. He has to. He knows him. So but I think now he's looking at Obama and he's like, if he's cogent, he might start telling that story about his legs in the pool in the water.
Dude, Biden is absolutely
he's not saying yes.
going to drop out. Like Biden himself hasn't been making decisions for.
We got to start putting some bets on this then, because I think he's staying. I know a guy, a robot in our Discord. He's got $1,000 that Biden will be the nominee. It only pays back $500. $1,000 to win $500. He made the bet weeks ago, and I'm sure he's going to lose that now.
He's going to lose that money.
I think he's solid.
No, it's totally untenable for him to stay in the race now. Like, it's obvious that Democratic leadership behind the scenes were trying to privately nudge him. He wasn't budging, and now they're all leaking to the press. They're doing it publicly, and it's impossible for him to, like, the ads write themselves right now. The Trump campaign and all the Trump supporting super PACs or whatever, they're all crafting ads saying he's lost the faith of his own Congress and his own party.
And I thought you were gonna say, Trump took a bullet. This is him right now.
Well, they're going to do that.
Got the kung flu. He's somewhere hiding out in Delaware. But in the background, you hear beep.
Well, they're already doing
show him in a hospital bed, all decrepit.
But the main bosses of the Democratic Party they've forced the issue.
They realized they couldn't effectively hide his condition anymore, and now it's just beyond the pale, and so they need him to step down. Like, all of these people now who are calling for him to step down have known he's been a senile old man for years, not pulling any levers, just waking up and eating ice cream and letting the people around him make decisions.
Oh, I've got another thought. I bet he'd intended to pardon his son, and that is so important to the wife and so important to him that they can't. I bet that's part of it. Part of it. I don't think he's going anywhere. And Zach, what do you want to bet? $10? I'll do $10 with you, $5, whatever you want. Like, we'll do that. Bet I say Biden stays in this race. He's running it through. We'll just do even money if that's fine with you. 10 is fine. Deal. Yeah, Biden's staying. So, he's the nominee.
Why would he leave?
Think
Why would Jill give it up? Yeah, I mean, what does he care? If they're going to win, it'll be by stealing and cheating anyway. So what would it matter if people are going to vote for him or not? They flew a bunch of illegals into all the towns that were they were at risk of losing, so they could harvest their ballots and vote. They
airdropped them in like red fucking dawn. Brown dawn.
Harvest what ballots?
They just get the ballot and write the new illegal on there. There's your name. Here's some goofy signature. There you go.
I don't know how you do
Count it up, boys.
I don't know how you do elections in your state, but you can't just don't just mail you a ballot. Like, you have to be registered to vote, and you can't register to vote if you're there is no data to support. They've done multiple audits in multiple swing states.
Safest election in history. Guys shooting at the president from the top of a building 100 feet away.
Nobody has ever established any kind of like outcome determinative voter fraud. It's never happened. Not in a single court.
You don't believe in voter fraud? You don't think there was voter fraud?
It has.
That's not what he said.
I said,
Hutch, I have an example of it happening.
Voter fraud.
Yes, it happened.
You can find individual examples, sure, but when we're talking about like, oh, go ahead.
Wait a minute.
No, yeah, I don't think
Losing
we're on
all
the
the
same.
bellwether,
It happened in North
counties?
Carolina. A Republican did it actually, and
Oh,
they
right.
messed with all the mail-in voter. It's not up to debate. Like his son ratted him out.
He got
Well, the
charged.
Cartman.
Right?
He got charged,
Yeah.
but he was
Yeah.
too influential, and they dropped the case, so he got away with it, and he's running now, and he's gonna win. But he did not. Basically, they didn't let him serve his term because, beyond any shadow of a doubt, he messed with the mail-in voter votes.
Crazy.
You can find individual instances of voter fraud. That's nobody contests that.
When you said individual instances, such, I thought you were referring to like one person who voted twice.
No, I mean like
hundreds
isolated.
of thousands of votes that were. I think
Did
they.
criminal too.
I forget the mechanics of it, but I think they removed the votes they didn't like.
That's that's less common
That
than
helps.
like than somebody, oftentimes like in Florida, for example, a lot of people voted when they didn't even realize they couldn't vote because the law had changed, and there was like some law that went into effect having to do with convicted felons, and so there was some mix up there. But like if you do a statewide audit in a state like Georgia and you find like 7 instances of voter fraud, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's obviously not.
You're
No,
right.
I agree with you.
No, they didn't
I
do
agree
an
on all
audit,
that
though.
shit.
They did a recount.
They did 3 recounts in Georgia,
Yeah.
and one of the
Yeah.
recounts
That's
was
nothing.
every single
A
vote in the
recount is
state.
not an audit.
recount
to
is dog
Dick's
shit.
point.
Yeah. It's just
A
counting. the
recount
same
is just you're not
bogus
actually
ballots.
auditing.
He lost it though. Trump
Wait,
fucking
hold on.
lost, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
what are we
I just
doing?
want to know if you guys think that 2020 election was real. To do anything
All right,
else,
all
you
right,
gotta
all right.
prove
We've been arguing about whether the election was stolen or not for a while now, and I think we can all agree. that
And
Dick
I've
is
got
right.
bits and pieces of it from my
And-
end. Like, just, yeah,
I wanna
Hutch will
talk
be about
about
to
this
like.
election.
I'll like. It was so funny. Like Hutch was about to launch into something, and I'm like, oh, I'm interested in what he has to say here. And he's like, and the thing is, for fucking 2 minutes. I'm like, well, I guess
Good shit.
sure it was
Yeah, I think
I want to talk about this election. I'll kick it off.
But
I
let
think
me
you're
just-
counting your
but-
chickens before you're hatched.
Me
I'm
too.
glad you
You're
said that because I wanted to take a
overconfident.
quick vote before we go any further.
Yeah.
Who thinks Trump has it in the bag and it's not? It's game over.
no chance.
Just me? Oh, you're wrong.
I need a,
What's
I need
the
a
date?
less.
Seven-
Kyle, I need a less confident option. Like if you said who thinks Trump is more likely to win, I might have raised
Invincible.
my hand.
Invincible.
Okay, yeah, I'm not with you.
Invincible. All right, so let me just
No.
lay the case out really quickly. His base is incredibly galvanized right now. They are pumped. I wasn't joking. It's the RNC. Everybody's like, the hand of God came down and changed the future for you. Don't take it for granted. And they're saying, and they're wearing bandages on their fucking ears. Okay, the right is going to vote. The left's vote is an anti-Trump vote, not a pro-Biden vote. And all Biden has done for months is diminish at that and chip away at that. And if this is all taking place within the bubble of this inflation that my generation has never experienced before, that we didn't know could happen. You're watching the money, your dollar bills are literally like turning to powder in your hands when you're paying for $8 bacon. It's crazy. They made fun of Trump for talking about expensive bacon. He was like, I can't even afford it anymore. No more. I told him no more bacon. And they're like, Trump rambles about bacon during unhinged remarks in Iowa. I can't imagine first of all, my opinion is that Joe Biden is going to stay in the race. He's going to be the nominee. So I'm operating under that. The fact that y'all aren't, I guess,
then your prediction might be in trouble because Joe Biden is the most popular president in American history.
Yeah.
According to Jill Biden,
600 million people
and
will
his
vote
lawyer.
for him.
He
Yeah,
got more
I wanna hear
black.
from
He,
somebody
he turned out more black people than Obama either time.
Yeah.
Not this time. Trump is going to have record numbers with minorities, with black voters, with brown voters, with especially from the Muslim community that don't like quote unquote genocide Joe. And even if those people don't come out, hold their nose and vote Trump, they're certainly not going to come out and have a pro Biden vote because that guy's facilitating the genocide of their people as far as their perspective goes. So you can't get them to even think about voting for this guy. And I think that that's going to go far and wide. I don't think that Trump's going to win New York, like some people are saying that he's going to contest New York and stuff like that. I think he's going to win New Hampshire, though. I think it's going to be a shitstorm. I think it's going to be 310 to 320 electoral votes for Trump.
$10 bet on New Hampshire. It goes blue. You say it goes red?
I mean, that would be a smart bet for you. I don't say it goes red.
That's why I'm proposing it.
Have you looked? By the way, Trump's ahead in the registered voter polls there, the most recent ones. Like
It doesn't matter. You haven't
voters.
considered the 3 a.m. voter.
All 10 million of them.
I thought we were moving on to this.
We are moving on. It was a quick aside.
It's fun
Right,
to
right
fucking
now-
make
right
jokes.
now,
I'm
Biden
so
has
glad that I'm the one who is going to be seen as the visionary when people look back on this episode. They'll see me surrounded but undeterred. That I couldn't be. There's this experiment. There's this social experiment where they put 8 guys in a room and 7 of them are actors and one of them is the actual participant. And in order, they asked them, are these lines the same length? And they're not. It's different length lines. And all 7 in a row say, yes, same. Yes, same. They ignore reality. And 35% of the time, the 8th guy will say, yeah, fuck my reality. Y'all, I'm with y'all. But if you have just one person in that chain of 7 to disagree, it drops down to 5%. Suddenly, this person's willing to hop on somebody else's ship because they can see that island in the sea, in this
You're a
void of
patriot, and I love it.
Come on, boys. The island's safe. Okay, it's warm. Trump's got this locked up. Go to every single swing state. Use whatever polling you want. I prefer registered voters because those are the guys who are up for it. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, New Hampshire, Georgia, Florida, Ohio. Virginia's not that far out of reach. Biden's, of course, leading Virginia by 2 or 3, but it's going to be one of those too close to call, folks. The state of Virginia, it's going to be neck and neck.
And also down ballot races are obviously super important.
More important than the presidency.
The best, we'll say just as important, but the best the Democrats can do in the Senate is 50-50. The West Virginia seat is fucking gone. And so it's down to Ohio and
the Rust Belt,
and
Michigan,
Montana.
Minnesota.
No. The only 2 Senate states Senate races right now that are truly competitive are Ohio and Montana. And if the Democrats can win, Democrats, the rest of the country are well overperforming Biden, like by 8 to 12 points. It's crazy how much they're over polling from him. But if Democrats can hold those 2 states, then they can keep it 50-50. But
that won't matter because Trump will be president. He'll have the VP will have the vote.
Well, that's why they want. That's why Pelosi and them want Biden to step aside, is because they're seriously worried about him dragging down ballot candidates, which is obviously real concern. He's been trending in the wrong direction since the debate.
It's why I say Joe Biden is a bigger threat to democracy than Donald Trump ever could be by this arrogant fucking nonsense that he's pulling right now. Like I'm Big Boy Joe and I know better than all of you and anyone. 65% of my party polled right now thinks that I should drop out. 65% of my party, and yet no, I'm in there. He's sick right now with COVID somewhere, and he still sees a way out.
Kyle, I want to pierce this balloon. I need a chance to reply. After the RNC, John McCain was leading. After the RNC, Mitt Romney was leading. After the DNC, Hillary Clinton was leading. The fact that you are having a good time right now at this moment where everything is going Trump's way, and he's leading by what nationally? 2%, 3%? That's not a lot. This contest is still on.
We don't do a popular vote, and Donald Trump just took a bullet to the head.
So another thing to consider,
and Joe's in bed. Joe's in bed. Donald got shot in the head. That's what happened this week.
You know, I don't interfere with your Republican on Republican violence. I blame your video games and your culture. I think the guy maybe played Rust. He was a roof camper. That's my theory on this whole thing. But it had nothing to do with us.
So another thing to consider,
he donated to get out the vote for Vote Blue.
And it's not even an argument. Another thing that is true is, like, I don't think you should ignore the polls, and I especially don't think you should ignore trends. Like, there's a lot of like insanely pro Biden Twitter accounts that are just full on copium. They only point to the polls that have him up like +1 and ignore all the rest that have him down like 5 or 6.
Pennsylvania.
I think it is fair to point out, though, that number one, the polls in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania are within the margin of error. And if Biden can win all 3 of those, he does win the presidency, assuming he stays in, which he won't. And number 2, the polls have been underselling Democrats since the Dobbs decision. There was a red wave predicted in 2022. The most projections had Republicans winning anywhere between a 25 and a 35 seat majority, if I recall correctly. That didn't pan out. We've seen Democrats overperforming in special elections, not just in specific enclaves of the country, but all over the country. I don't think you should hang your hat on that and ignore the trends, but I think there is some reason to be dubious in this spot.
But what if they were saving money this time? Like we gave it to, I don't know how. Okay, I've got two thoughts in my head. Let me get them both out. One, Mr. Beast was on this show and he told us he gave 10 grand to a homeless person, which I thought was very nice. And he says, no, it turns out that's a mistake. If you give 10 grand to a homeless person, it seems like an act of kindness, but it's more likely to ruin that person's life.
Did he make a video about that?
No, he told, oh, you were in prison. He was on the show when he said it.
I know.
And so it was kind of eye-opening to me because I was like, oh shit, I thought giving money to a homeless guy would like help him, but it turns out it ruins them more often than not. Okay, so that's one thing. But the other, I'm like, when you leave prison, not Kyle, but a lot of people are broke when they leave prison, and they're really starting off from a hole. Not only do they have no money and no way to like rent a place and get back on their feet, but it's difficult for them to get a job because they have this label next to their name. So what if while they were in prison, they were learning skills and building a nest egg so that they could rejoin society in a better way? Is it my ideal where this works out really well, or the Mr. Beast truth where we're giving bad people lots of cash to make terrible decisions?
Let them have. I mean, look, they're a lot less likely to reoffend the moment they step out the door if they've got 15 grand stuck away that they can liquefy somewhere. You know, I just think that what I don't like is the idea of a private prison, which means a rich dude somewhere owning the rights to 1,500 men in Alabama and their workforce, and he essentially has a plantation of mostly black people in Alabama. And he can go to any business he wants in that area if they need, and he can flex all of that muscle against them politically. He not literal muscle, but he can sort of be like, if you want our contract, of course, we come in at $3, they at $7. Ho ho! It's like,
I like how your slave master sound in this example.
It's almost like I don't pay these boys. Yeah.
Take a look at Edgar here. He's the best shoemaker you ever done seen.
So you're cutting your nose off. You're cutting your nose off to spite your face if you refuse to pay these prisoners because, you denied those hardworking prisoners their fair wage. But what really happened was like, whoever was supposed to be cutting that grass, picking up that trash, mending those trees, or making those shoes, stamping out those license plates, whatever the fuck, they're getting screwed. And the whole business is, all ships in the fucking rise with the tide or whatever. Like everybody's lowering with the tide of slave labor being pumped out of this fucking prison, which has like government funding and in most cases anyway. These sweetheart fucking deals. It's not like they're paying market value for that chili I was eating, that Brushy Creek chili, the finest chili in Talladega, Alabama.
That phrasing you had of like whoever was supposed to be making shoes, stamping license plate, etc., is the one I was searching for. Like that's the anti-capitalism part of it that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, slave labor is a bad idea. As soon as you figure out the cotton gin.
I don't like private prisons. The idea of that is just weird.
All of them?
Yeah, it's bad in theory, but we've had it in practice long enough to know it's bad in practice. Like Taylor's just right from every direction on this. We've seen judges get convicted and locked up for sending innocent people to private prisons for kickbacks. Yeah. This whole system is a bad thing.
Yeah. If you incentivize stuff like that, like it doesn't matter. Like it's the way you get way too many people on certain kinds of prescription drugs because you tell doctors, "Hey, I'm Mr. Pfizer here. You get more patients on SSRIs. A sweet little kickback for you." And what you end up with, like it's the same way we have so much corn. You subsidize behaviors, you get more of those behaviors. And so if you tell a bunch of farmers, that their corn subsidized, they don't give a fuck. You tell a bunch of doctors to subsidize SSRIs, they're going to promote it.
It's like an ethical thing. There's no right or wrong answer. Our tax code subsidizes behaviors. One thing that comes to mind quickly is the child care tax credit, right? So if you have kids, they sort of lighten up your wallet a little bit to help parents who are still raising kids.
You're paid have kids. Yeah.
Sure. And this is, in the eyes of the government, considered good behavior. People who own homes, right? It is not rent, but own homes. They tend to be better citizens. They're a little more invested in the area that they live. They care about their schools. Even if they don't have kids, they might care about the schools a little bit, where people renting there don't give a darn. So there's a mortgage tax deduction. The interest on your mortgage is tax deductible. There's dozens and dozens of examples of how they use the tax code to modify American behavior in a positive way. Do you think that's wrong to do?
No, it's like subsidizing positive, socially healthy behaviors is always a good thing. Like subsidizing people having more kids, like that's good. Subsidizing healthy behaviors is good. It's where you subsidize stuff that ends up with more people on unneeded and SSRIs, or more people in prison than you actually need because they smoked weed and this judge is crooked or some shit. Like it's a very powerful tool. You just have to use it for things that are generative in our society.
I agree with you. There are smart, well-meaning people on the other side of it too. We're on the same side.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess subsidies in general are neither good nor bad. It's just
it depends what you're subsidizing.
You almost need a.
Some people think any government, putting their thumb on the scale of any behavior at all, is like immoral. That small government, get out of my hair, exactly. In every regard possible. But
yeah, we're never going back to small
like
government. That's a crazy pipe dream. Like you need to make sure our large government is doing things that are good for citizens the best you can.
On the note of like, it probably doesn't matter who's the president when it comes to like really smart things. It seems like we recognized during the Trump administration how far we were behind, how far behind we were with semiconductors and a lot of high tech electronics and components that were being produced in Asia.